Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. So don't forget to click like, subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all my latest content, and by all means leave a comment. It helps me to develop the channel, gives me suggestions for ideas, and also doing likes, subscribe or comments all help YouTube to promote the channel to other people. And the great thing is it doesn't cost you any money to do any of those things. So today I'm going to guide you through 10 stretches aimed at people that work at desks. So you might be in an office, or like so many people these days, you might be working from home. Either way, when we sat for a long time, there's certain muscles, there's certain joints that can get quite stiff. So hopefully these 10 relatively straightforward exercises will help you to move around a bit more freely, have fewer things like pain and stiffness to go with it. So with all of them, you work at your own pace. If you've got any underlying problems, obviously adapt things appropriately, and I'll try and give you some guidance the whole way through. So you want a chair for this. I'm going to use a dining room chair. You want a nice sturdy chair, one that's not got wheels on it so it doesn't move when you're doing the exercises, and we'll get started. So the first stretch we're going to do is targeted at the neck, and it's a movement we call side flexion. So if you take your left hand and hold on to the side of the chair, and what I'm going to now do is move my neck so that my right ear comes down to my right shoulder. And you should be feeling a stretch all the way along the left hand side of your neck. We can actually make this stretch more challenging if we pop our hand on top of the head and add a gentle stretch there. So only do this if it's pain-free and you're just feeling a nice stretch there. We're going to hold for about 10 seconds. And then relax. And then we'll do the same again. So again, we're keeping the hand on the chair. It's easier if you don't hold on. So again, if you found that was too challenging, then obviously do it without holding on. But hand holding the chair on your left hand side, bringing your right ear to the right shoulder, and add that gentle stretch. That's great. And we'll do the same to the other side now. So this time with your right hand holding the chair, and what we're going to do, I'll bring my left ear over towards my left shoulder and add a stretch. And relax into any stretch. If you tense up, it's just going to make it more difficult to do. We hold for about 10 seconds. And then we relax. And the same again. That's great. So that was neck side flexion. Now for a lot of people, they'll be working at laptops during the daytime, and the temptation is to get a bit of a poking chin. So a really good antidote to that is our neck stretch, which we call a chin retraction. So I'm going to sit with my back right into the back of the chair there, and the stretch this time is going to be one where we draw our chin backwards. It's a bit of a funny movement to do, but if you imagine that it's almost like a shocked expression, like something's coming towards your nose and you're trying to pull away from it. So I'm showing off a double chin. And notice I'm not going down or up, I'm just literally going straight backwards. And again, if you find that's okay, you can even add a gentle stretch. And relax. So again, with all of these stretches, the easier form is doing it without any sort of extra pressure with your hands, but you can just add that little extra stretch. So again, I draw backwards, shocked expression, and then again. And you might find this stretches right the way down, even into the shoulder blades. And then relax again. So that was our second stretch, which was a chin retraction. The next stretch we're going to do is both for our neck and our upper back, and it's a movement of rotation. So I want you to make sure that you've got a gap between the back of the chair and where you're sitting for this one, because you need that space so you can move freely. If we move around to what will be your left, I'm going to make sure that I've got my right hand on my left thigh for this one, and we start the movement from the neck. So first of all, looking over your left shoulder as far as you can, and you might get some pops and creaks with this. Take a big breath in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, try and twist around not only from the neck, but also from the back as far as you can. And what you might do as well is use your hand to push on that thigh to give yourself that little extra stretch. And relax again. Well, we do that again, shall we? So again, your right hand on your left thigh. Look over the shoulder as far as you can. And then take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, use your hand to push on the thigh and add that extra stretch there. And relax again. And now we do the same on the other side. So this time it will be your left hand on your right thigh. So again, go to look over towards your right, take a big breath in, and then as you breathe out, twist from the upper back, applying some pressure on the thigh. So like a spiral staircase, you're twisted all the way around as far as you can to your right. We hold for 10 seconds. And then back to the start position, and we do that again. So again, taking your left hand on your right thigh, look around as far as you can, big breath in, and then twisting around as far as you can, aiming to hold for about 10 seconds or thereabouts. And relax. There we go. So that was our neck and back rotation stretch. Number 4 is going to be another movement of our back, and this time it's one we call flexion extension. So this is that bending forwards and bending backwards. But because we want to get an absolute end range movement there, we're going to go about it in a certain way. So the first movement with flexion, we're going to curl up into a ball. So I'm trying to bring my chin to my chest, and my nose all the way down to the floor. And again, we can make this harder by just adding a little bit of a gentle stretch with our hands on the back of the head. So we're going to hold for about 10 seconds. And then I want to do the same movement, but going backwards. So this time, we're going to lean back on the chair. We're going to poke our chest out as far as we can. I want you to imagine you're on a beach somewhere. So my hands are lightly resting on the back of the head there, and I'm really trying to stretch those shoulders so that the elbows come out as far as they can behind me. So not only is this a movement of our upper back, leaning in back into the chair, but it's also a nice shoulder stretch as well. And again, curling up into a ball. And again, you might add some pressure there, giving a gentle stretch. And relax into the stretch again. And then back up again, like a sunbather on a nice beach somewhere. And again, poke that chest out as far as you can. Try and get those elbows out behind you as far as you can as well. That's good. So that was flexion and extension. So our 5th stretch is for a muscle that goes from the back of the neck into the shoulder blade. It's called Levator Scapulae. And the way we're going to go about stretching that, again, I'm going to hold onto the chair with this one. So this will be again with your left hand. I'm going to bring my chin down to my chest and then over to what will be your right side. So I'm not just bringing it down in front of me, I'm over, so my nose is directly over what would be your right pocket, and then I'm going to add a stretch onto the top of the head. So we hold this for 10 seconds and then relax again. And then let's do the same again, shall we? So again, chin down to the chest, turn around slightly so it's over the top of your pockets, and add that stretch. So these are all muscles that can get quite tight when we spend time at a desk. And the same to the opposite side. So again, swap over. So this time with your right hand holding onto the side of the chair, chin down to the chest, and then nose directly over or be your left pocket. And again, adding that stretch. And relax. And the same again, yeah. So again, chin down to chest, nose over the left pocket, giving that extra bit of pressure with the hand on top of the head. And relax. That's good. So that was our fifth stretch, Levator scapulae stretch. So the next stretch we're going to do is for our wrists. We can get quite tight with some of the muscles on the front and back of the forearms. First of all, imagine you're hugging a big tree in front of you. This is a crafty way of doing a stretch for the muscles between the shoulder blades. From this position, I want you to sit up nice and tall for me. And now imagine with your left hand that you're trying to stop the traffic. So nice and straight at the elbow, fingertips up to the ceiling, palm facing in front of you. Now with your other hand, with your right hand, you can add an extra stretch on there. If you find that's too much, obviously don't worry about the handhold. And again, you can make it easier by having the elbow bent as well. But if it's okay, hold this position, 10 seconds. And then I want you to do the same in the opposite direction. So bring those fingertips down to the floor, try and curl them underneath, and you'll feel this all the way along the top of your forearm there. And again, if that's comfortable, you can add an extra stretch there. That's good. So again, hugging a tree, sit up tall, stop the traffic. Hold for about 10 seconds. And then the same, opposite way, fingertips down, curl them underneath you, elbows straight if you can tolerate it, and again, add a gentle stretch if it feels okay for you. That's great. So let's do the same on the other arm. So again, big round tree that you're hugging there. And then sit up nice and tall, and again with your right arm, stop the traffic. And again, you might have a straight elbow, you might have a bent elbow. And then again, opposite thing, so fingertips come down to the floor, and again, if you can tolerate it, add an extra stretch there. And again, stop the traffic, add a gentle stretch. And then fingertips down to the floor, and again, add a gentle stretch. That's great. So that was exercise number 6. Give those hands a stretch. So the next stretch we're going to do is targeted at the glute muscles, and there's also a muscle called Piriformis in there, which is also going to get a stretch with this. So what we'll do, we're going to bring our leg up over here. So if you bring your left leg up over your right knee, keep that knee nice and high up there. Can you see it's nearly at the level of my chest here? And what I'm then going to do, I want you to take your right hand and apply it over the side to the outside if you can of that left knee. And now to add an extra stretch still, I'm going to try and twist around so that my shoulder comes down towards that opposite knee there. So you should find that your right shoulder is coming towards your left knee, and hopefully you'll feel a nice big stretch in and around the bottom area. Now, if this is a bit too much for you, if you've had something like a hip replacement, it might not be possible. The easier version of it would be just to start doing a gentle hug of the knee towards the chest, so without having that twist there or crossing the leg. So again, and relax. And the same again. So I bend forwards, I try and twist round, and you're bringing your shoulder towards the opposite knee. Try and relax into that stretch. That's great. So we better do the same on the other side. So for you at home, again, if you bring your right knee up and over the left leg, I'm going to catch a hold of the outside of that knee, and I'm going to bend forwards and try and rotate round so that my shoulder comes towards that opposite knee. And you might well find that one side's definitely tighter than the other. It's quite normal. And relax. And the same again. So with any stretch, you work to your own abilities. That's great. So that was the last of our stretches in seated. What we do now is we bring ourselves into standing. So for the next stretch, it's a movement we call lumbar extension. It's that movement of leaning backwards. We're going to combine this with our shoulders, doing a stretch for them as well. And the way we're going to go about this, if it's comfortable to do so, if you pop your hands into the small of your back, and what I'm aiming to try and do is keep my elbows behind me as far as I can. So again, we're going to try and bring those elbows so they're pointing back directly behind you. And what we're going to try and do with this now is lean backwards. So again, having a good stretch there, keeping those hands pressed into the small of your back. If you felt unsteady while you're doing it, you could always hold on to the back of a chair and that would be absolutely fine. But again, if it's okay to do so, we'll combine it and get a bit of a shoulder stretch too. So again, we lean backwards, trying to keep those elbows pointing directly behind you. And relax again. That's great. So the next stretch we're going to do is a sideways movement with the low back. We're going to combine that with some other flowing movements just so we get some movement of our shoulders as well. So what I want you to do for this one, again, nice big movement of the shoulders up and out to the side. Reach those hands up above you as tall as you can. And then I want you to lean over to the side. And you should feel this stretch all the way from your armpit all the way down to your hips. And again, back up again. And again, big circle with the arms. And we go this towards the same side again. Big stretch. And you might go further with the second stretch when you do them. And again, I can feel this all the way down the side here. It's quite normal to find one side's tighter than the other as well. And if that's the case, your homework is to keep on doing the stretches and hopefully over time that'll even out. And the same to the other side. So again, if you found this was too much, you could do it without having the arms over the top of your head. The easier version would be just to have the arm down the side of the thigh there. So again, you work at a pace that's right for you. I'm just trying to be a bit crafty and add as many other movements in as I can so we get more bang for our buck with this one. That's great. So the final exercise we're going to do is a quad stretch. The quadriceps is a muscle on the front of the thigh, and when we sat all day long, what we find is because they're in a slightly shortened position, they can actually get adaptively quite tight there. So again, doing a stretch of these muscles can be really useful. If you're not comfortable with your standing balance, if you're a bit wobbly, then definitely hold on to something for this. I'm going to use my trouser leg, you might find that you could use your ankle if you're quite mobile, and for some of you it might be you even held onto something like a scarf or something around your ankle there. If it's effective, you should feel the stretch on the front of your thigh with this one. So again, if you don't feel the stretch, you can add an extra bit of a pull on the ankle there. And again, we stand up tall, and make sure you don't overarch from the back with this. So keep your back in a nice neutral position, keep the knees together, and then relax. And we do 2 on the same side. Again, you can alternate sides with these exercises. I really don't mind. And then the same on the opposite side. So again, you might want to hold on to something while you're doing it. But again, the aim would be that you try and bring your heel up towards your bottom, either holding onto a trouser leg or a scarf. You can even do this with your foot resting on a chair. So again, if you're in a workplace, you might even have your hands holding onto the table in front of you and your foot up onto the chair. So you work at your level of ability and you do what's right for you. So again, make sure that you've done 2 on each side with each of these, and relax. And there you go, that was 10 stretches aimed at people that work at desks. So alongside that, don't forget, get up and move about a little and often. Maybe even go for a walk in your lunch break if you get a chance. Do make sure that if you've got a sedentary existence, that you're doing other things that help to counteract that. It might be you've got some sort of hobby or sport that you enjoy doing, something that just takes you away from being sat down all day long. If you enjoyed the video, by all means click the like button. It might even be that you wanted to leave a comment about things or give a suggestion for another video that I could make. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.